It is March. March is a beautiful month for many reasons. One, it's spring on the 20th, I think it is this year. It always changes. That's stupid. It should always be the same day. Second, it is my birthday on March 21st, and I'm gonna be 22 this year, so I'll be feeling 22. Ooh. Yeah, you better know what that's from, because otherwise, where have you been? And 3, it means that summer is closer than it was in February, because spring is starting, which means summer is a season closer, my friend. So this means a wrap-up time, and I'm combining the January and February wrap-up in one because I find that I don't read enough to make like one wrap-up for 1 month. So I'm joining them together so you have more books to look at, because it's just more fun if there's more books. So we're gonna jump right into it. And I'm doing a lot of stuff with my hands. Let's go. So the first book I have to show you is actually the first book I read this entire year. And let me just say, it was a fantastic book. Fantastic. It was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This book was so good. I did a full review on it. If you want to know all my thoughts on it, you can click on Throne of Glass right now. It'll take you right over to it. And I absolutely adored this book. 5 out of 5 stars. I think I gave it like 98% on a 100% scale. It was so good. It's a fantasy series. It's the first in a 6-book series, and I just can't wait for more books to come out because it was just so good. Sarah J. Maas is a genius. Genius. The second book I picked up, I just couldn't help myself. I had to pick it up. The first book I read this year made me want to read this one, and that is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. The second book in the Throne of Glass series. Words cannot explain how good this is. It is just everything about it. Again, another full book review, and I only do book reviews if I really enjoyed the book or if I have a lot to say about it, and I had a lot to say about it. So if you want to see, you know, what I had to say about it, just click on Selena's face right there. Click, and it'll take you over to that video. This one deserved another 5 out of 5 stars. I think I gave it like 96% on 100% scale, something like that. It is so good. I'm gonna tell you once again, go read it. If you haven't even started this series, go read Throne of Glass and then pick this one up and then read all the other ones, because everything is good and it's just so good. Next, I picked up a Colleen Hoover book. So I had a few books to choose from her, but I decided to go with the most popular one, which is Slammed. At least I think it's the most popular one. It's the one that I hear the most about, and I really enjoyed this book. It was so good, and for some reason this book was in the adult section in the bookstore. It wasn't in the YA, but the character is like, what, she's 18, so I don't understand, or is she 17? 17 or 18, so I don't understand why it's in the adult section. I know that Will, is it Will? I know that Will is like 21 or 20 or something like that, but the main character is only 18, so why was it in the adult section? I don't know, but really good, really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun reading it. I am really looking forward to picking up more books by Colleen Hoover. I hear only good things about her, so I'm really excited to pick up another one. Maybe I'm gonna read like Ugly Love next, or maybe someday, because those are like the other 2 really popular ones by her. So this was really good too. And the next book I read, I have to say, I was quite disappointed with it. I read The Darkest Minds in February, I believe, and I was not impressed by this book. I went into it with really high expectations because everybody, and I mean everybody, loves this series, loves this book, loves Alexandra Bracken. The Darkest Minds just didn't impress me at all. The story was a little bit boring. There wasn't, I don't know, there was just something missing for me. I really liked the characters, but there was something with the story that just wasn't grabbing me, and I couldn't really connect to it, and I was just really disappointed by it, and I'm not really planning, I think, on continuing with it at all because I have no interest really in what's gonna happen with the characters. It was just that type of book where it went over my head. I think it was just too hyped. It was too hyped for me, and I went with really high expectations of it, and I was just really disappointed, and I'm sorry for everybody who really loved the book. I didn't really enjoy it at all, so I'm not planning on continuing. Let me know if the rest is good. I might reconsider, but I can't guarantee it. But yeah, I gave this 3 stars out of 5. I would give this like 80%. So yeah, disappointment. A book that didn't disappoint me this month was Isla and the Happily Ever After. Holy crap, this was good. I did a full review on it, expressing my feels for the love going on. Just everything in this book was fabulous. It was so good. And this one, I had heard mixed things going into it. So I had like oh, it's okay if I don't like it because other people don't like it too. But I did not expect to like it this much. I gave it 100%. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely adored it. I did a full review on it. If you want to check that out, you can click on the book right now and it'll take you right over to it. And let me just say, Stephanie Perkins has my heart. She has my heart. Absolutely loved it. I love the characters, I love the plot, I love the setting of the book, I love where it was based in the book. I'm not gonna tell you because, you know, you gotta find out for yourself. And if you haven't read any Stephanie Perkins books, don't read this one first, read Anna first, then read Lola, then read Isla, because then it'll be so much more satisfying. Because there's something that happens in this book that you have to read both of the first ones to really appreciate the ending of this book. So I highly recommend you read all of Stephanie Perkins' books because they are so amazingly good. And the last final book that I read from January to February, I actually finished it on February 28th at 8 o'clock, was The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I actually only got this book because of one of my viewers. She said she watched my Crown of Midnight book review and she said that I had to read this book before I read, what is it called? Heir of Fire, because this book gives you a lot of insight on the backstory and the history of Selena's life that'll come into play in Heir of Fire. And I was like, okay, I need to read this book if it's gonna give me insight because I want to know everything that leads up to everything that's gonna happen in Heir of Fire, because I feel like it's gonna be a big book. It's gonna be a big, fabulous book with a lot of information, and I want as much insight as I can possibly have. And it was really fun. There are 5, were there 5 or 4? Give me a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a collection of 5 short stories by Sarah J. Maas that is about Selena's life. If you've read the first 2 books in the series, this is not a spoiler or anything, but she has a friend called Sam in her past, and he plays a big role in this book. And it was really fun to see how they became friends and what happened to them in the past. And I just really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I wish I could give 0.5. I don't give it 5, I'll give it 4.5, and I'll give it like a 90% rating. It was really enjoyable. It was really enjoyable, but I was missing the Dorian and the Kale part of the story, and they don't come into play at all in this because it's before she meets them, but you know, it was still really good. But I'm really excited to start Heir of Fire because, you know, Kale and Dorian, just the love triangle going on. It's quite the feels. It hits you in the feels pretty hard. I still really enjoyed this book, And I do recommend that you read it before you read Heir of Fire, because heck, who knows what's gonna happen in Heir of Fire. I haven't read it yet. Don't tell me what happens. So, good read, good read. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that I read. 3 of these are actually 4 of these are quite big. So I enjoyed most of these books, and let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know what you thought about them in the comments below. And I will see you guys, and I will see you guys next time with a brand new video.